and you accelerate time 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 years ahead of us, what do you anticipate will be like?
I think about that a lot because we talked about type 1, type 2, type 3. By the time you're a type 3 civilization, you have the energy to manipulate the Planck energy. The Planck energy is the ultimate energy of the universe, of the quantum theory. You take the quantum theory and relativity and scale it up all the way. Just let it rip. What is the highest energy you can attain, and then something new happens? That's called the Planck energy. It's a quadrillion times more powerful than our biggest atom smasher in Geneva, Switzerland. At that point, space becomes unstable. We think of empty space being stable. Of course, how can you do anything with empty space, right? It just sits there, does nothing. But when you start to boil space, to the Planck temperature, all of a sudden it becomes unstable. Bubbles begin to form. And these bubbles are gateways to other universes. These are baby wormholes to other universes. We think that our universe was one of these. Most of these universes, like boiling water, pop out of existence and they pop back in. They never get anywhere. But one of these bubbles kept on going, and that became our universe. Our universe was created because empty space was heated to the Planck energy, and at that point, space itself began to boil. And the boiling of space created the universe. That's where the universe itself came from.
Is it possible that human beings, or whatever we're going to become, could eventually someday attain the type of power?
That's right. We've looked at that. In fact, there are people, friends of mine at MIT, who have written papers about what it would take to become a god. We realized that if you could attain the Planck energy in a box, let's say, somehow, a bubble would form, a gateway to another universe. It would expand. It would expand rapidly. And you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
If it expands too rapidly, it has a force of, I think, a 10 kiloton atomic bomb. So you have to be out of the way when this thing explodes. But then it simply peels off and creates another universe, and then it disappears. Like a balloon, like a piece of a balloon that pinches off. If you're on the first part of the balloon, you never see the second part of the balloon. The second part of the balloon has peeled off to create a baby universe.
Wow.
Okay? So these are called baby universes. And who's written about these things? Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking wrote about baby universes that if you could boil space, heat space up to the Planck energy, space becomes unstable, bubbles form, and these bubbles, one of these bubbles may just keep on expanding to create another universe. Now,
and we wouldn't have access to this universe.
No, it would peel off, just like a balloon. The second part of the balloon peels off from the first part, and the two separate. The only way to get reconnected is through a wormhole. But that, of course, is a whole other story. But that would be a possibility of recreating a link between our universe and another universe.
So we could potentially create one of these mini universes.
That's right.
And this mini universe would exist in a completely different place.
That's right. So we've done the calculation. And as I said, it could be a little bit dangerous. So you have to make sure that the explosion doesn't kill you in the process. But yeah, this is what it would take to create a baby universe. We call this the inflationary theory because the other balloon inflated rapidly. So this is part of what is called the inflationary universe. And believe it or not, this is the dominant theory of Genesis.